Okay, so is it going to let me? Oh, it will let me record it. I'm going to just record this and I will post some more cards on this. But I was doing all these little bubbles. I thought I might as well just record this as a live and get it all down. So I'm going to recap on some of the things I did in the bubbles. So I wasn't aware what was going on, and I'd missed what Matthias had said a couple of weeks ago about what the download he got from Melchizedek. I can't pronounce half these angel names. And I was just going, and when I'm out, especially when I'm traveling, I'm much more in tune, especially when we're moving around, when I'm on the earth and on the ground and being barefoot out in nature. I feel connected, so my guidance comes through really loud and clear. And symbology, since I first went traveling, I have these cards that I use that I do readings from. They're very old. They're like Titans ones, and they're very pictorial. So these pictures obviously have meaning for me, and I see the symbols which relays the meaning, and it's kind of just a way of tapping into the web around me. But over time, and those symbologies, those pictures now sometimes are words, they are guidance, they are sounds that come through. Even frequently of late, it's been certain frequencies. I realized I did in one of the meditations that I've done in the last week or so, I was singing, and I was singing what they were like, what was flowing out, but I started to do half of a Reiki toning or symbol, and afterwards, and at the time I was like, it felt right, because that's what I wanted to be singing. And I want to elaborate on this, because I was like, afterwards, I was like, why was I singing San Jose, San Jose? I was like, I can't do it when I'm not connected. I can't just switch it on. It just flows when it needs to, which is a place in America, not the actual Reiki symbol. And though we were still doing the shukure, which is the Reiki, I thought, why was I singing that? And all the time I was doing it, I couldn't. That was what I'm, and I suddenly thought afterwards, it's not that. It's completely different. The ending is completely different. So I asked, why was I singing that then? Why was you tuning me to that? And the place in Mexico. So then I started asking questions. What is it about that? What does that mean? And this place, the patron saint of this place is Philip. And there's these connections. Oh, see, this is where it gets with you following your guidance. And Alexa, what does the patron Saint Philip stand for?
Philip is the patron of joy and humour.
One, it's joy.
Just say next.
But what it was saying at the time was it's the counterpart. I think he basically recorded, if I'm remembering correctly, the stuff from Mary and Jesus and a lot of Mary Magdalene's things that she did. So I thought, oh, okay, this is to do with Mary Magdalene and Philip. And anyway, and then I kept seeing this symbol of like we associate, I think of Mary Magdalene and I think of Glastonbury and I think of the sacred wells there and a lot of the teachings of Avalon. And this pack that I've been tuning into, the Wisdom by Colette Baron Reid, let's get it out just in case they ask me to pull something from there. Colette, it's these women, they've got their swords, and because over the last few times that we have been doing the meditation, I was given this vision of our sword of truth. You can think of it like your lifesaver, I've been saying, which is basically in reference to the Qigong master keys and the column of light that we work with. And in other religions, we talk about this column of light and aligning with this column of light. Hi, I'm recording this, so it's up to you if you want to stay, but I was just relaying some of the meanings of what came through over the weekend with the symbology, which was interesting. So, and recapping on all the little stuff. I thought I might as well do a recording of it because there's quite a bit that's come through. So one of the first things was when I was doing the toning, I was saying San Jose, and I was like, why Jose? Because this is placed in Mexico and their patron saint is Philip. And that led me to Mary Magdalene and the connection with Mary and his teachings. So there was a whole other bit that I feel like I want to look into a little bit more, to do with the healing that we did in one of my meditations that I did recorded this week. So first, there was that I wanted to say about, yes, I am aware that I was saying San Jose and not San Heiki instead, which is Ki, of course, is Reiki and Chi and the different ending. I just thought it was interesting that I had a mental block and was saying the other thing and wanted to know why, and whether there was this connection to do with Mexico coming up at all. Anyway, haven't had any more information coming through on that. But the symbology of the 3 crowns is to do with religion, which lets me to do with this is to do with symbology and religion. So the 3 doves that I was seeing, the 3 kings, and meaning 3 territories. They were talking about 3 different types. To me, I now the new information is that's the 3 religions. I know that there are more religions than that, but it was referencing these 2 with regards to how we see the wolf, and that's why I put up yesterday the quote from an old Transformational Tuesday quote about the Cherokee legend of the wolf, which one we feed, and this sense of every individual is responsible for their own energy, and every individual has to take responsible for their own light, but we are all capable of great light and great dark. So you think of the wolf, it can mean fear, it can mean like the wolf pack coming at you kind of thing, and then the lone wolf. And wolves are actually beautiful totems and animal totems and creatures, because they can work together, they can work beautifully together. You have a pack there, but pack mentality can go either way. It can work for or against, and it's the duality of that. It's referencing the duality of these 3 kings. And what they'd said to me, which was quite beautiful, I was just saying about the well thing, you can't alone just cleanse this. It's not something that one person can do, but a collective could, even just in what had happened in the sacred space where I was, and where I was trying to bless the well and give my own honouring of those that had worked with the crystalline energies before. However, they're saying, like, in calling me my lady, it's the grace within God. And I don't mean God as in the God word, I mean it as in the reference of that part of us that is more, and that connection to what I was just saying about the sword of truth, the sword of the light, column of light that runs through us. So they were saying that the three birds were birds of peace, and they are the peace is leading to this duality. And I thought that seems a bit backwards. Shouldn't it be the duality is leading to peace, not the wolf? And they're saying that it's the protector wolf, it's the wolf within. So basically the peace will come when there's peace within the duality of ourselves, in our souls, in our inwardly. And so it clicked today. I shared a thing that someone had shared something. Matthias, being in Israel a couple of weeks ago, was told about the ashes of war to come. So this is all before this happened. They'd said this stuff, and he'd put a post up, and that's covered in the ash. We need, as the ashes go across the world, then we need to find the spark. We need to go into our internal light, because what happens is it creates duality with people arguing about what's going on, who's wrong, who's right. So that's what my post yesterday was about, and a reminder of, we can't say, we're never going to know. And people will say if they're justified in their anger, and I had this in a conversation with someone recently and said, then it would be okay to kill people, and it's not. We are not here to put our over someone. Sovereignty isn't about power over other people. It's been misunderstood. Sovereignty is about our power over ourselves, but not suppressing ourselves, but allowing ourselves to be in our own, stand in that alignment of that line. That's what the sword of truth is. And you can't force people to see that, you can only demonstrate that. So as things out there increasingly, and 15 years was what was predicted, let's try and speed that up. In my mind, I'm trying to visualize it happening even quicker. However, that our happiness can't be dependent on what's outside of ourselves. It has to be what's happiness within. Hence the Philip. Hence why I was singing. It's like, why am I singing Hello Say? What's the meaning? There's always a reason for things. So I want to look into some of that teachings and wisdoms there to do with Mary Magdalene and Philip, and I'll ask for more guidance with that. But it's more about the misunderstanding in a lot of things about the people that are running things being the ones in power. It's not. It's within, and all of, there's loads of religious references that actually says that if you read what's there, it's that subtle interpretation of how humans or man has interpreted the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is there. Heaven is now if you choose to have it. But also so is hell if you choose not to. And I know that this could be quite triggering for lots of people, even on lots of levels, when you take it to, well, then I'm not responsible for my relationships, or I'm not responsible for my health. I wouldn't choose health like that. Neither would a newborn baby that's born into a war zone, and all of this stuff. And I've had people say these to me. And what I want to say to that is what I reference, what not so much from my understanding, because I, like Esther, queried Abraham in the beginning the same questions, or not so much Esther, but Jerry, when he was live, was always asking those questions about the Holocaust and such. That, from my understanding and listening to what Matthias says about this, and what the people he's channeled have said about this, is that there needs to be great desire for that shift. And it's almost become normal for us to see stuff on the news. We're complacent to it. It's normal. You're like, oh yeah, that's the way it is over there. That's war. That's it. And there's not compassion in the wanting to feel what they're feeling, but the empathy, but the compassion is to desire the shift, to desire the change, but to feel the change within us. And that change within us can really, really make a difference. So they would say that those desires that are launched when the whole world is launching rockets of desire for peace, not focusing on war, we can have peace. And she said that it could happen overnight, but you would still get duality, because not everyone is at peace within their hearts. It's about the human race desiring that within us. And sometimes you have to know what you don't want in order to know what you do. Oh, the emotion comes to know what you do want. And in higher perspective, we are eternal. Death is different in sense of it, when you're looking at eternity. I found it hard to understand until I remembered past lives, because now, as much as I'm very much want to be present in the moment in this incarnation, I remember what it was like to die many times. So, and I'm okay. I'm here. My soul is intact. And other lifetimes, but I guess that's different. And again, it's like what I said about 360 degrees perspective earlier in my little bubble, little talks things in here, that if you're just changing from 180 degrees, you're changing from this opinion to that opinion. You're not seeing from 360 degrees. It's about seeing from higher perspective and actually holding higher perspective, which is not easy to do. It's not for everybody to do either. My post this week references that path of radical love is not for everyone. We're all in incrementations, in different divine timing in our soul path, in our journey. And some of us in this lifetime, it may be about service. It may be, and for me, it is that call to demonstrate, to hold frequency And we tend to then remember the past lives where we were in that frequency, which is why I'm remembering Atlantean priestess being priestess in Temple of Anaya, and other things that about the coming together of masculine and feminine. And because that's about the rebalancing. And I think this is why this felt relevant to share, because this month is very much about rebalancing. Obviously, we've got the coming eclipse. I recommend you be meditating daily. I have tried to put up stuff. I shall, because today is our digital detox day, although I've put from 7:30 till 9:30, but I've still no telly on today. I've kind of doing minimal stuff with recordings, and then I was going to try and keep to that as much as possible. And my family and I really enjoyed doing this. It was my husband that found it the hardest to not have the TV on, and at night time not have the TV on in the background, which those frequencies, even those lights we know now, like blue light, interferes with your sleep patterns. So there's lots of understanding about the technology as to why we need to have the balance between it and use it for and teach it to be a good thing. But I'm definitely more personally, and I know that's not everyone's journey, but my own journey is definitely more aligned to the organic alternatives, rather than picking to do it the long way round would be my partner and say we might do it the hard way, meaning to get there through a state of consciousness of my own alignment, so I know I can do it without aid, rather than take something or play something as an option. So that's what I recommend doing, and going over and memorizing some of the things that we've done and checking in with you and what feels right. So it may be that I needed to do more movements and energy where I'm for detoxing at the moment, where I'm working through my immune system. As always, when major events happen in the world, my body seems to have some kind of effect on me physically, but then I've set it up in that way. I've got that belief system, so that's be the case. So maybe I need to release that as well this month, that I don't feel it in the same way. And let go of that belief that it's linked to what's happening. So I need to focus box. So what I wanted to just recap was the free kings, the free territories, or the free religions. So 369 again thing, meaning that peace will come when the duality of the wolf within us is fed in the right way. And the only way we feed that wolf is with love, because if we feed it with, and it's not necessarily a warning, but it's a remembrance to not allow and not even to see, oh God, people are arguing, and because there's been a lot of duality happening when people have put posts up for peace regarding this, and people are commenting like right, left, and said, oh, but this is justified, and oh, how can this be back and forth. I've seen on lots of social media posts things like that, and it's not just about what's happening with the war and with politics. It's all areas. There's this kind of tension. So not if you see it happening, just go to yourself, like I would have done when I was 16 and I was having a panic attack, and Louise Hill would go, oh, I'm just running anxiety. Just think, oh, that's just the programming coming out to be seen, to be cleared, because it's going, we're seeing it more. And so when it happens, hopefully it's not happening for you, but it may well be that even I had my own taste of that, as you know. We're allowing it to just go, oh, right, okay, just let it go. So, and I thought about that time and what I've learned from my experiences with things of contrast and duality in my own personal experiences. Observing, being the observer of yourself, being the observer of others, and trying to just go to the heart. And if it doesn't feel right, you don't owe anyone an explanation. If you walk into a room and you've cut the air like a knife, you can walk back out. You walk into a restaurant and you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to eat there. And it's the same principle with stuff. Now, that might be slightly thing when you a workplace, but in actual fact, that's just our perception of having to stay in this. You can choose to go, don't feel comfortable where I am at the moment. If I'm in this frequency vibration, I will look for somewhere and I will align and call in a new place. But what will generally happen is if you send love to that area, you won't need to be the one that moves, because someone else will get a work transfer, or these other people will move. And it just naturally, as your frequency is constantly in your field putting that out, people around you just bounce off. They can't align, because the harmonies of that, it just doesn't work. It's not in harmony. It will go to where it is in harmony. Like attracts like. That's what the law of attraction is. So if you're always holding that, and I'm not saying it's easy, and we are being pushed more than ever right now, especially with the eclipse, because we're finishing a cycle and starting a new one. So these eclipses might affect you in a different way. For my members, I shared Devi's link for you to look at. But basically what he was saying is look at where these eclipses fall in your chart. So if you know astrology, if you know in that top square, I think it was saying, where your ascending or rising sign is, then you know how you're going to be affected for the next set of eclipses. And then you can start doing that now, and you can start clearing that now, and helping yourself have understanding and seeing that whatever emotions come up. And I listened to Abraham Hicks this morning by accident. It started playing. I was like, oh, okay, I need to hear this, do I? And it was the reminder of that, even if you are in a negative emotion, remembering the emotional scale, if you remember that your inner being, source, God, consciousness, divine essence, whatever you choose to call it, does not feel that way. So if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel sadness, if you feel anger, that's the opposite of what source is, because source is love, happiness, joy. It's not aligned with that. So that's not how source feels about it. If you're feeling that, that's not how source feels about it. That's a reminder, I'm not in alignment with source. So yeah, you could go, well, duh, if I'm crying, of course I'm not in alignment. However, it's a reminder also, like you saying, that it's not as you're seeing it, that your perspective at that time is out of sync. So therefore, to let the shift happen, to let that go, to realign, to reset, to reconnect, to all the re's, and allow as well, and allow yourself to become the observer. And this is where, if you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're feeling that way, it's getting back to how you can then let it float the cork back up. And even when we're talking about these intense things, and I remember there's one video where this guy has a cap on and doesn't want to be seen, and he's questioning Abraham Hicks about when there's war, when there's Holocaust, when hey, you're not going to tell me that. And she answers him and says that in those places the contrast is not the same, because they are so disconnected from that. But all those around, and in those moments, the rockets of desire, and this was basically, let's bring it back to what I started with, are shifting things, are changing things, and will propel things quicker than they ever would have done had it been just left in the whole complacency. Oh, it's just that happening again. Yeah, there's war kind of thing going on in the background. Oh, another bombing, another this, another that, and people kind of becoming numb to it because it seems the norm. It's like our pain. In the same light, we become accustomed to feeling uncomfortable, in pain, in sickness, and in illness. It doesn't mean that's the natural state of your being, though. So the world has become unaccustomed. We feel it more because we know that's not the natural state of being, that's not the natural state of our planet, and it's not the natural state of how things are. So they are coming back into alignment, and to see it as a good thing. She was referencing that on all levels, which is really hard, and I know triggering for lots of people to hear. So I just thought I would say about the fact that what the wolves have said, the free kings, that's the free religions, the free territories, and how they are, the peace will only come with alignment with the wolf. And if we let go of fear, and I wanted to ask about the Philip thing. So today is our digital detox day. So tonight, obviously, and I'm all day, I've got no TV and things on, and I'm doing it in 3 packs. We've got Resurrection, Mystery, and the horse. Well, the horse hasn't come up before. Ooh, she says, Alexa, can you turn the dining room light on? The horse. The additional guide of Avalon. Well, the horse in my pack is a... Thank you. Is about movement and change and shift. So movement, but this is accepting help from another delegated authority. So someone will step in, some power will step in to change things, to negotiate, and to allow for change. But the mystery, it says, will be the outcome. The sacred journey. I'm going to have to read that one. And then resurrection, which has a path and a gateway along the path. So we've got the horse, the mystery, and I'm looking at that now, and I'm seeing the 3 trees, like I saw the 3 doves again. And in the center, I don't quite know what that is. It looks like a boat upside down, the symbol. It's not, see, I was seeing it completely different. It's a post pointing with a direction, and it has a symbol on it. So I'll read that, and then resurrection. So what does Collect say regarding the horse first, which is 26? The horse appears on your path to offer acceptance. If you're asking a question about your life, the horse says that you will indeed receive help from another to aid you on your quest. Too often, do you refuse help from others? Do you sometimes feel that although you give to others, no one helps you? Well, you don't have to walk the whole way alone. You can get help. The horse appears to remind you that assistance is for the asking. Sometimes you need to be carried to get to your destination. Trust that when the horse appears, help is yours. Remember to ask for it, and also remember to accept it when it's offered. So asking for help from the divine, for divine guidance, and for what's happening in the world. And for me, that was asking for help in clearing and cleansing some of these places, and it will appear. Mysteries 52. Let's read that one first. The Maker directs you into the unknown, unknown able mystery of your journey. It is the sacred place where all things are created but are not yet formed. It points to the way to pure power and potential, which meets the magic of intention. It tells you that the magic, unknowable forces of destiny and fate are working in your life. the force that you can never fully understand or control, are indeed weaving their magic around you to help you fulfill your true purpose. There is, however, a warning to be humble here. The mystery reveals itself only when it chooses, and not when or how you demand. The cosmic law operates here outside of time and space, outside of human influence and intellect. Only hidden sights will reveal their patterns. Only total trust and the deepest faith can be your allies when the mystery appears as a sacred journey marker of your path. Sometimes it may seem as if you're going backwards, but truly, if you look at a spiral, it goes up, back, and around, reaching upwards. Although it may seem for a time that you are not, you are indeed progressing. Trust the mysteries and keep going. I just want to add, because I sneezed and I was like, well, what's the sneeze been in that fault when I sneezed was like, that's why every time we have these like uploads, I do another level of purging. And when I look at my diet, I was sort of saying to myself, I'm not demonstrating to people that follow me and that I share stuff with, like what it's like to be in 100% health. And then the answers that were coming back were, you look at what you eat in your life, it's when you have those crappy things, and actually you're demonstrating to be more and more and more and more sensitive and aligned to hold more higher frequency. And the more higher frequency you want to hold, the more you're going to have to make those efforts to detox, to cleanse the things that aren't higher frequency for us in your life, which is what my diet has definitely demonstrated. First with like meat and dairy, then and I'm not saying other people need to, because this is my chosen path that I've been called to, and not everyone is called to. But if you are someone that's called to, that may be something you might need to align to. I know you definitely understand what I'm talking about, those of you in here. I'm on about for the others. It is recording, just to remind you, for Facebook. For now, trust that the thread of your life is woven into the pattern of the mystery with beauty, grace, strength, and purpose. This marker is an auspicious and profound omen that shows you that you are on the correct path. And I think this is referencing also about, because this is all about the war and as well, these cards that I pulled are about politically what's happening. So resurrection is, I'll just finish up and then afterwards I'll stop the recording for you. 35, so you don't have to go on to YouTube if you don't want to. Then 35 is the last. So resurrection, this marker brings notice of restriction in all things. I wonder what I was reading. Resurrection of restrictions in all things. You are in a prison of your own making, or at the mercy of that which is temporary, out of reach. You aren't able to move forward constructively at this time. Be patient, pay attention to the next right action, and sooner than you know, the prison doors will swing open and you will yet again proceed to the greatest goal. For now, take this opportunity to rest, taking stock of where you are and from where you've come. Ask, how did I get here? What am I not seeing, and what needs repairing? So those are the questions in the bigger picture that needs to be asked. How did we get to this point, and what are we actually seeing happening out and unfolding, and what needs repairing in our society for that to shift and that to change? Once answers come, so don't relief does, so does relief, and the relief will come then from the bondages of the circumstances, and there are circumstances within the mind, hearts and minds. That's what the reference was. It's about the wolf, the duality within each of us as humans, and our reactions to what's happening that is key, because our reactions will magnify it or they will shift it and change it, and the way that others intervene. And I feel there will be a power of intervening, and that we need to use our own intervention power of aligning with peace and love within us to actually affect that. And as one in alignment can have an effect on billions. So I shall stop the recording there, as I have one of my members that wants to have a quick chat. Thank you for your blessings and for listening. I hope this has given you help, guidance, and maybe some understanding within you to aspire to be in a place of peace with what's happening. I'm not saying that and I'm not condoning or saying I don't care, because I think it is very important that we do care. But I think my focus for me is for that connection within to elicit that greater power to make the shifts and the change on a bigger scale. So love and blessings. So let's come out of here.